thinking on that. I would lean more towards Orihime, only because Rukia is a dead chick. Is that not weird? See, it makes sense, right? I mean, what? I meant to say Rukia. But see, I only said I was leaning that way. I could be convinced. See, that's a problem. There's a Rukia here. Is there any Orihime? Oh, well, screw Orihime. I mean, don't get me wrong. Rukia, she's an attractive dead chick.
Dead people go.
Wait, way back in the back. Standing up. Yeah, sure. There are a few more seats in here if you guys want to sit down.
So you've voiced Adachi in Persona 4. Have you signed many cabbages in your days?
I have signed 2 cabbages. Actually, 2 actual cabbages, but I've signed plenty of pictures of Adachi with the cabbage.
That's what I've got here.
Is that what you had? Okay.
I've got an 8 tray of all Adachi.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So here you go. Next question.
Actually, here's a question that I have for you then. What is the weirdest thing that you have to sign?
Yeah. That's a good question. The weirdest thing that I can think of at the moment that's on my head is I was doing an autograph session with Jason Frank from Power Rangers, and this kid came along and asked if I would sign his leg. And occasionally I would get that, and I'm like, oh, okay, you know. And I turn around because my Sharpie's dead, so I turn around and grab another Sharpie. And as I come back, the leg is on the table. It's a prosthetic leg. Like, he took it off. And so he's like this. You know, like waiting for me to sign it. So I signed it in the sweaty part of the thigh. But it was a little odd. It shocked me at first. I'm sure I was like, ah! But yes.
Hey, Johnny.
Hey.
Hi. I have a Power Rangers question for you. Okay. So 1994, season 2 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the 3 original actors left. What was it like, or how did it come about that you found out about the role, and what was it like auditioning and eventually getting the part?
That's a long story. Alright, so basically, how did I get the part? Well, that's true. I can't really speak their side of the story, even though I know a bit of it. But yes, the other 3 were off the show. And at the time, I was studying Shaolin Kung Fu in Texas, and my instructor was reading the paper, and he saw that they were auditioning for Power Rangers. And he called me over and said I should, give it a shot. And so he helped me come up with a routine of just doing some flips and kicks and whatever. And I went to the audition. And I convinced one of my friends to go too, who was kind of an awkward white guy who thought he could dance. And the thing is back then, it might be different now, but back then when you audition for Power Rangers, you need to be either a martial artist, a dancer, or a gymnast. And I could do, I could flip, I could do acrobatics, and I could do martial arts, and so I had to get shot, as far as that's concerned. And so I went to this audition, and there were thousands of people, and they had these auditions all over the States. And there were thousands of people there. A lot of people were like kicking up in the air and looking fancy, and I was a martial artist. So as I was walking by, I'm just thinking, I'd kick him in the balls if I were to fight him. That's all I was thinking. Like, how would I fight this guy? And so we went in, and they started calling us in, and they would bring us in like 10, 20 at a time. And they'd say, you can stay, the rest of you go home. So at first it was just based on looks. And then they brought us in again, and each of us had to do our routine, whether it's martial arts or dancing or gymnastics or whatever it was. And so I obviously did some flips and kicks. And then my friend went in, and they told me I could come back, and they gave me a little piece of paper that had some dialogue on it. And my friend had walked out of the room kind of sad, and I was like, how'd it go? And he's like, well, I started doing the worm. And they told me to take it out. And so I was like, oh, well, I got mine, so I'm going on. And so I went home, and back then, I grew up in Texas, and at that time, and it's coming back wearing tight jeans, but I had really tight jeans on. After, like, at first I was dressed in my martial arts stuff so I can flip and stuff, and then I went home, I thought I was just going to read this thing, so I put my jeans on, and they're really tight. And so I came back, and I went in and I read this monologue for them. And then they asked, hey, can you do that stuff that you were doing before, that kung fu-y stuff? And I was like, oh, yeah, sure. But I could not kick this high because I had these tight jeans on. You know, and I swear, in my mind, I thought I was just going like this. You know? Like, it felt ridiculous. But and there's like 5 guys there and just one woman. And I just kept looking at her because she was smiling. The rest of them were like... So I just look at her, and I'd be like, yeah, in between everything I did, I was like, yeah. And I was just hoping that would, like, we'd have a connection. And then they said, okay, thank you. And I was like, well, okay, I guess that's it. And so I went off to go register for college. And as I was there in the dorm, and this guy that I just met, who's talking about how life sucks, and I was feeling like, I'm going to kill myself if I have to live with this guy. I get a phone call from my brother, and he says that they called, and they want me to come to California and audition. I know this is a long story. I'm trying to see as fast. But anyway, so I go to California, and I show up, and there's like maybe 20 or 30 Asian guys. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm supposed to go on this line. And then there's about 8 Hispanic guys, and then a handful of black girls. And so they started to mix us in and out of each other. And a long story short, they ended up with the 3 of us, that ended up on the show. And so that's basically how I got on the show. Yeah, sure. We haven't been to this side of the room. You gotta get some cardio in. There's it right here.
This is another Power Rangers question.
All right.
Why does Adam keep getting the short end of the stick in movies? Because in the first movie, your spiritual animal was a freaking frog. And in the second movie, your vehicle was a minivan or something. Why do you think the creators hated your character?
I don't know. I brought it up. I brought it up to the producers. Actually, in the second movie, I went to them, I was like, hey, so I've got the minivan, and can I be upset about it just like it was in the first movie? Can I complain and be like, I don't even have a family? And the producer's like, no, Johnny, you are not funny. And so I was like, okay. I was like, well, that's the only thing anyone remembers from the first movie, but all right. So I don't know. I also don't know why most of the time I'm the crotch of the Megazord. I'm always right there. So, yeah.
What's the best part?
I guess so. Without me, it all falls apart. Right behind you.
Hi, it's another Power Rangers request from my friend as well. Can you morph, please?
Can I morph?
Yeah, can you morph, actually?